Money will follow the talk. Solo my hustle, the power set it for me. Oh yeah. The money will follow the talk. Solo my hustle, the power set it for me. Oh yeah. See, like your time, oh. Life like your time, oh. Like your time, oh. Life like your time, oh. Like your time, oh. Life like your time, oh. Like your time, oh.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Frequency Shift. The visual and auditory experience here to shift your frequency one conversation at a time. And speaking of frequency, today we're going to get into the world of sound. Now, when you think about sound, you think about maybe music, you think about things that you hear throughout your day. But if you really get down to the science of sound, and not just the science, but the metaphysical aspect of sound, sound really encompasses all that is. Before there was anything physical, it first went through being a sound frequency. Every single physical thing corresponds to a specific sound wave. That sound wave either vibrates very rapidly or slowly, creating the physical reality that you see before you. And there are human beings on this planet that are tapped into the world of frequency and know how to not just listen to sound, but actually put themselves in the frequency, in the art of what they do. And one of those people are here with us today, and I'm so pleased to introduce Geronimo Vannicola.
That was a very elegant intro. It's hard to talk after that.
Welcome, Geronimo.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm truly, truly honored to have you here today.
Thank you.
I've known you for a while.
Yes.
Met you through other people.
Yes.
And I noticed how you work as an artist. Mm-hmm. So for those of you watching who have not come across Geronimo before, he is an executive music producer, an audio engineer, composer, entrepreneur, and owner of Wave Lab Studio. Geronimo is also a board governor of the Recording Academy. Mm-hmm. And so it is such an honor to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, one day at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, extremely passionate about music, but also people. I feel like when you talk about frequencies and energy, we are connected. I love the saying. Someone said it to me recently. I was like, it's so true. We're spiritual beings having a human experience.
A human experience, yeah.
Not humans having a spiritual experience. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think, with that saying, people, that's something that people don't really tap into like that, because it's like, oh, I'm a human being and I have a soul within. No, you're animating this physical reality with the soul that you are. The art of sound. How did you tap into the art? I want to know, like, as a child, you listening to music and things like that, like, what did it do for you? When was the first time you heard sound and it shifted you within?
There was a few times. I think two specific times I remember when I used to watch movies and commercials, and I'd hear the scoring in the background and the music, and it used to give me chills. I was like, what is that? And you think about, like, Edward Scissorhands, remember that movie, and how beautiful the music was? I was like, this is special. Like, the feeling it's given me is something that I've never had before. And then also, like, listening to, like, Timberland when I was a kid. And I'm like, this guy is good. Like,
Crazy
and I didn't
sick.
know what producing was or anything, but it was special.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were moments where I was just like, I didn't know at that time, but I was like, this is nice. Yep.
Okay. So you have this saying, because I want to go into, I feel like where you are right now has been an ongoing journey. And the journey is always continuous,
Yes.
right? But I feel like your beginnings shaped and molded you to where you are today. You have a saying that goes from foster homes to Grammys.
Yeah.
I want you to explain that link to me, and how that you going through that as a young boy, man growing up led to this path.
Yeah. So I know you're talking about too. It's in one of my values.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say from group homes to the Grammys.
Yeah.
I was so I was raised in foster care. Just really, really, really young. I think my mother just had some mental health issues, and as you grow older, you start to understand what that means. You know, because when you're young, you're angry, you're upset. You're like, why do I go to school when everybody has their parents? I don't. And you go through all the emotions, all the psychological things a person will go through. And so I was raised in foster care. I was in over 30-something different homes. It was just a lot. It really was just a lot. And, you know, most kids dream, and I never had a chance to. So it was like I was just surviving, honestly, just getting through life, figuring it out, going through the motions. It's crazy because, like, I look back on it today, and it's like the lessons that got me to be able to be so disciplined and efficient today. But when you're going through stuff like that, it's not easy. I remember I even asked one of my teachers, I was like, can I go home with you today?
Oh my goodness.
She was like,
oh
you
my
can't come live with me. Because she was so nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then and in one of my homes, she like the lady, she just wasn't very nice.
Yeah.
One of my homes I actually lived in the longest. I was from like 5 until like 12.
Okay.
And she just, she wasn't really physically abusive to me like my mother was, but she used to like lock me in the basement for like hours. And I was in the 3rd grade, and like, I thought every kid got locked in the basement when they were bad. I went to school. It was crazy. I went to school. They were like, what did you do this weekend? I said, I was in the basement. They were like, what? What is that? And then I learned that wasn't right.
Wasn't normal.
That wasn't normal. So I used to run away.
Oh my goodness.
And then that's when they eventually moved me out of that home. And then it was like a lot from there.
Wow, that was a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy. Life is real.
So from the age of, did you start the journey in the foster home at 5, or it started before 5?
It's funny you asked that because I just went to see my godparents yesterday. So there's only one home in the world, and for most people it's like that I can go to and see pictures on the wall of me. Yeah. And that's my godparents. So they were friends of the family of my mother. They took me in when I was like 6 months old.
Okay.
I was a baby. And then I went there, and they didn't officially have me as a foster child. But then like me and my sister had to move away because we just went through some traumatic experiences there. Went back to my mom for a little bit, but then they officially took us away, and I was like officially in the system at 5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that, you know, for example, you being locked in a basement at a young age, thinking that it was normal, you coming to find out certain things that were happening wasn't normal. How did all of that trauma, how did you go about unpacking that trauma? Because that's a lot to take with you into even adulthood.
Yes.
And not everybody can experience healing or knowing how to deal with that. Sometimes you just put things in the back of your head and it happened and you just let it go. But like, you don't seem like someone who just, you are someone who is very aware of yourself in this time and frame. And so for you to be at this point right now, what did you have to go through to unpack that trauma?
Went through a lot of work, a lot of mistakes, setbacks. You know, I think that there was areas in life that I suffered in that a little more than I needed to, like relationships. You know what I mean? Like when you don't have a relationship with your mother, which is a core foundation of your life, you know, she's there to nurture you and love you. I've never had that. Even till this day, like I'll reach out to my mom and she's just not there. You know, so I have to like remember, like it's not my fault, you know, and just you know, and then not treat other people that way. Like, you know, I'm 39 now, but I went through some rocky moments, you know, in my life where I was just like, yo, this isn't it. And I don't want this family curse to continue. So I went through therapy. I went through extensive therapy. I made sure I stayed tapped into resources in the community that can help me grow, community-oriented things, because I realized that, like, that's what helped me the most when I was in the foster care system. Being in a group home and being around other peers that I could relate to that had similar situations. So I'm like, I guess I'm like a sucker for a sad case. Every time I see a situation, like I like want to pour into it, but as I grow older, I have to learn to have discernment. Because think about it, like imagine you help 1,000 people or something like that, whatever, and all of them aren't in a good place, and then you let go of them. They resent you. And I've had that happen to me for years. Like I'd look out for people, help them out, and then like I notice that they're not reciprocating the energy or you know, really taking advantage of the love they're given. Yet you learn how to let go. So it's like the gift and the curse of going through those things. I've learned to say, okay, value yourself as well, but I still have empathy. And I look at people and I want to help, you know.
Yeah, I think that's important being someone who went through that, having that empathy, feeling and knowing what that person is going through, or even if you don't know the exact situation they're going through, you're feeling it. But at the same time, like you said, discernment, because everybody is on a different journey, right?
Sure.
And some people, when it comes to healing, there's certain things that they have to do on their own. And then you can become a crutch to them, right?
True.
Because they are, when it comes to the journey of healing, you have to find the love within, regardless of everything that has gone on in your life.
Facts.
From other people, from you. You gotta strip all of that down and find that love within yourself that nobody can give you
at all.
And it's hard for people to do that.
Especially when you didn't learn it from a foundational standpoint. Like if you think about all the love languages and stuff, like something as simple as like a touch or a hug. You know what I mean? Like, or someone saying, I love you. Like, I don't even think I remember my mom ever saying that to me. Something so foundational, right? So like, I try my best. Like it's a work in progress. I tell people every day, I'm working to be a better person every day because I did not learn things the right way. Like literally was like tortured in moments of my childhood. And I think about now today, like how can I be great? Because when you learn things the wrong way, it's like, nah, that ain't it. So I stay prayed up, man.
That's very powerful. That's very powerful because breaking the cycle is something that a lot of people aren't able to do. That's why we see human beings hurting other human beings. And it's all just cycles repeating themselves. That's all it is.
For sure.
So now, you know, you going through that childhood, what was the point? Where was the pivot point where music entered your life fully and it was just like, oh, I'm experimenting with this. I'm doing this with this. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, when I went to Del State for a few years.
Okay.
And I was like freshman class president and stuff like that. And things were like, it was cool and everything. And I ended up leaving school. And then I went through a moment where I really needed to work on myself. And literally I found music. Like I started studying like the business side of it.
Okay.
That's what I learned. Someone told me if you want to make it in the music business or make it in the music industry, study the music business.
So you studied the business first before you even got into music?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was because someone told you that you decided to do that, but you knew you wanted to get into music.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good question. So the first thing they asked me, they said, what could you do every day for free if all your bills were paid? And like, that's a hard, like you think about it. Imagine in your life, right? Everything that you ever wanted for is paid for.
Yeah.
Food, clothes, shelter, travels, whatever. And all you had to do was sit back and say, this is the one thing I want to do. And remember, I didn't dream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was a really hard question for me. And I sat back a while, and I thought back to the first question you asked me about music, and I thought back to that moment. I was like, man, like I used to watch like Power Rangers and hear the theme music. I used to play like Super Nintendo and hear like Super Metroid's music.
Yeah.
For those out there that love music, please tap into the old video game music. It is the composers on there.
Oh, yeah.
And they were working in like 8-bit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, how are they making these sounds? This is back in like the 90s and the 80s.
And it's very nostalgic.
Very nostalgic.
Always.
And they moved into the electronic field. So it wasn't like they were just using orchestra like Final Fantasy games. They had full orchestras playing. These were like electronic. Oh, man. I thought back to those moments. I said, I think I want to do music. I said, I get chills. You know what I mean? When you get chills about something, you get those... And that's literally what I did. I taught myself piano.
You taught yourself piano.
Yeah.
How?
Just YouTube.
YouTube University.
YouTube. And there's a program for everyone
snap.
out there that don't know it. It's a low-key program. It's called Synthesia.
Synthesia.
You know, you go on YouTube and you type in, like, I want to learn a piano song, and the keys come down. That's what that program is called.
Is that the program you use?
So I learned, I use that, and I can like literally, I can MIDI anything and put it into the program, and it just tells me how to play.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's I mean, technology has always been a friend of mine, but I've realized that I've utilized it to harness my education in music because I'm learning it. I learn it backwards.
Yeah. Like
instead of like traditionally going through school and having the parents to help support that through sheet music and learning an instrument, I didn't go through that. So now I let technology teach me.
Yeah.
And I just do it the other way.
Yeah. No, I like that because it's like there's no excuse.
No.
Right? With the age and era that we live in now, with technologies at our fingertips, you want to learn anything. Like you don't have to be honest, you don't have to go to school for anything.
No, not anymore.
Unless
you want to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Right.
Yeah.
But everything else, you can just look it up. You can take courses. You can do what you can find a way.
That's right.
And you did.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like life was rock bottom for me.
Yeah.
There's only one way.
Exactly.
Like outside of that. And then I have like my sister who's been an amazing support to me throughout my life. Like she was going through the system as well, but to feel her love and to see her be so selfless and amazing, even though we went through the stuff that we went through.
Yeah.
I always admired my sister because she's a kind spirit.
Yeah.
And me, I'm more like, if it ain't right, I'm like, I ain't try here. You know what I mean? She's more like, no, I want to. So I love her for being like a beacon of what true love is.
Yeah. Is she older or younger than you?
She's older than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So you studied the business behind music first. What do you feel studying the business of music did for your career before learning music itself?
So I think when you work a regular job, you do something you're responsible for, and the outcome is you getting paid. For me, I knew that I wanted to do music. I just didn't know how I was going to get paid for it.
Yeah.
So I ended up establishing a studio called Wave Lab Studios.
Shout out to Wave Lab.
Yes. I've had it for 13 years. I had a business partner. We started together. I found someone that was passionate as well, that had more talent than I did. And I just injected my energy into them, my business sense, everything I could. And we got the studio up and running and stuff like that. He eventually moved on and did other things. And I just kept going. I didn't even know how to engineer at that point. And that's like vital to owning a studio. Like you can make beats all you want, but if you can't record people and make them sound professional and stuff, it takes away from, the essence of what a studio is. So in business, I learned that if you establish yourself through a craft, you can sell whatever it is the craft is.
Whatever it is the craft is.
Yeah, you want to provide services to people. That's the number one thing in business that I've learned. I tell all my clients, provide a service.
Yeah.
If you ain't providing a service, then you're going to be in debt.
Yeah.
And service doesn't always look like, the recording. You know how it is. We work with each other. It's the energy.
Yeah.
It's the hospitality. It's the love in the room.
Yeah.
people take that out of service and they forget like
Yeah.
you're there to be for the person. So I took that model and I said, no matter what I do, I'm going to inject that into it.
Okay. So you started the studio with a business partner. Your business partner moved on to do other things. Getting into engineering the sound now. I know you taught yourself how to play the piano.
Yeah.
So you about to tell me you taught yourself how to engineer too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
How did that work?
So we're just by learning from other people.
Okay. So like you sat in with other producers.
Yeah, just
Okay.
watching.
Okay.
And going to YouTube University.
All right.
And there's like online sites now that like there's like masters out there of the craft, and you can literally just watch them, see the plugins they use. I'm more senior veteran in my craft now, so
Yeah.
I'm just pushing the envelope at this point,
Okay.
pushing the industry standard. But when you first start out, all these plugins is like, you're like, this is candy. Like I'm
Okay.
writing down everything. I'm
Yeah.
like screen recording the video. I'm like, whoa, like I can't even keep up with how many plugins are on here. And interesting, to just take a step back. As you know, I'm a music producer as well.
Yeah.
I love music. I love creating and composing. That's actually one of the catalysts to me learning engineering.
Okay.
Because I'm making beats.
Yeah.
And if you want your beats to be heard well, you got to mix them.
Mix them all.
So that's actually how I started, was getting on FL Studio, making beats of all genres, electronic, hip-hop, jazz, orchestra, whatever I felt,
Yeah.
and making it sound like what I heard on the radio, as close as I could.
Yeah. Okay. So now mixing, mastering, because that's something that's really a make or breaking of a record, right? Because you have people who go and they have good producers that can make good sounds, but then when it comes to like engineering that sound, mixing that sound down to industry standards,
Yeah.
that's something that's a lot of people, a lot of talented people are missing.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
A few things, and I think we talked about it a little bit before, is budgets. You know, when people don't have the surplus of cash from the labels or from their support system, it's hard to pour into a craft like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, a mix. I know engineers that charge. I know one guy, he charges like $8,000 a song.
Whew.
Yeah.
8 stacks a song.
Yeah, I didn't want to say his name because he
right.
might fluctuate his price for different people. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's how it is. It's like you get, I mean,
Yeah.
who's paying that?
I know.
Like,
Phew.
so, but then I know a guy down the street that might get you for $160.
Yeah.
And it's like, but
Okay.
guess what? What's $160 sound
Gonna
like?
sound like.
What's 8,000 gonna sound like? And you go through that process because it's the equipment.
Yeah.
You know, if you sit in front of an SSL Origin soundboard, you record through that thing. I mean, that's it. And that's a $75,000 board.
Whew.
Right? We're not even talking about the hardware
My
connected to
goodness.
it. Right? So you record through that thing, your vocals are gonna be pristine.
Top notch.
Right? So that's just the basic recording. We're not even talking about the mixing of like, oh, how creative do we want to be? Do we want the delays? Do we want
Yeah.
the reverb suites?
Yeah.
You already know the deal. Like you can get real saucy with a mix. Or you can just say, here, record, and
Yeah.
that's your vocal over a beat.
Yeah.
So it gets really, you got to be a creative mind and want to contribute to the record.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I always say I'm an executive producer, because I'm pushing the record forward.
Yeah.
At all times. You come to me, we not just putting vocals over a beat. We're getting to the science of it.
Yeah.
You know, I hear the tone of your voice. We already, and it's so innate to us. It's our nature to know what a good sound sounds like. But that's a thing too.
Yeah.
People come in and they're off key. They're not on the frequency of the song.
Yeah.
I get on the piano. I'm just like, this is what it sounds like. Boom. You get it. Seconds. And then we locked in.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when it's a real thing to say that you're in tune.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
universally. Not even just through music. When you're in tune.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, okay, what? Because let's unpack some of this. First and foremost, I've had the pleasure of, watching you in action. And you really do take the time to, how would I say? I feel like there's producers who, you know, somebody will go in, they will record, put it together, boom.
Yeah.
But you sit and you really take your time, like in every aspect of the recording when it comes to making sure that the artist is on key, when it comes to like you hear every aspect of the song. You hear things that like even the person who may be recording it might not even hear. You bring that out like, whoa.
Yeah.
If you guys hear Geronimo production, first and foremost, Geronimo has worked with a lot of Liberian artists. For my Liberian audience that's out there, there's a lot of Liberian artists that you have executive produced their music, and people might not even know. They see you sit on this couch here. So you work with L.I.B. Foreman, you've worked with Prince L.I., you've worked with name a few of the other ones that you've worked with.
What's my guy? Phil Caesar.
Phil Caesar, yeah.
I mean, like their whole team was coming down.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're coming from Philly, and some of my favorite clients, man. I just, you know, the African vibe is just different. You know, my father is half Nigerian.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like I'm fully tapped in.
Yes.
And it's just like these guys are incredible, like the work. And it's just it's something about like culture. You just feel it and hear it in the records. Like they brought the heat.
Yeah. Yeah. So was that working with them? I know that, you know, they brought the Liberian sound. Was that your first time hearing the Liberian sound?
No. So I used to date a girl who she's African.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's Liberian.
Okay.
So I used to go to all her parties with her family and stuff, and they would get it popping.
Nice.
And then I think also too, just me growing up, learning, like being in different homes and stuff like that. That was the benefit of being in different homes, is that it was multicultural.
Yeah.
So I would live with a Italian family. I'd live with a Jewish family. I'd live with an African American family. I learned so much different types of music, and I'm like, wow, like. Because when you grow up in one home, if your family's not eclectic, you're
gonna be one track.
You're gonna be one track. But that was one of the biggest benefits of being in the system, is when I did move into different homes, I just learned, you know, like the Anita Bakers, you know, the Marvin Gayes, like
talk about it.
Then I go all the way. You go to Celine Dion, Mariah Carey,
yes.
and you're just like, oh my God, like these are different worlds, but still so beautiful. So yeah. I had the experience, and then, you know, when people come to me, I study. Like if a person comes to me and I'm not familiar at all, which is gonna be rare.
Yeah,
I go listen.
Okay,
and I study. I'm a student always.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that you're always a student, and I love that you have such a broad range of like influence, musical influence from across the board, from different parts of the world, because that makes you like a world engineer.
I love it. I mean, orchestra is probably one of my favorite genres.
Okay.
So like when I hear it, I hear songs in orchestra.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay. But then I'm like, I love some 808s. You know, I need the bass. So it's like hip hop is just incredible for me. Like, not only for what it stands for from a foundational standpoint of empowering us, but just the sound and how it's eclectic.
Yeah.
Hip hop has every genre in it.
Every genre.
Yeah.
Every genre.
It's like they'll sample orchestra, they'll sample, you know what I mean? Like everything. Like I can't even, it's just literally, if you go listen to hip hop and you type in like the samples where they come from, you'll hear Count Basie, you know, you'll hear like jazz musicians, you'll hear, you know, the late great Quincy Jones. Like, so yeah.
I think that, you know what I think when it comes to the world of, I want to say like Afro beats and the sound of Africa, I feel like the young generation that's coming out now are doing that same thing, where they're like starting to tap into, it's like the way I'm looking at the evolution of African music, it's evolving in a way where you cannot put it in a box, because the next moment you hear somebody that's coming up with this other thing, that's doing this other thing. And so it's just, it almost is like, to me, hip hop on steroids a bit.
Oh yeah. It's like evolution. You know, people are hearing, because the thing about it is America. A lot of people look to America as like the the bar of success, right?
Yeah.
And that's relative, right? Because like to me, like my luxury is my peace, my family, living off the land, right? But I also understand that in America, there's the ceiling is so high, you can go all the way up.
All the way up.
You know, so it's like both. It's like you can be so much esoteric and be like, oh, I'm gonna be like, nah, you could really take advantage of where you are and stuff like that. So that's what happens is people look to America and they study here and say, oh, I would love to, because, you know, the Recording Academy is the bar. The Oscars is the bar. You win one of those in your country,
you've set the bar high.
You've set the bar high and you're set for life.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be able to work with whoever you want to work with. So I think that's kind of what it is people are studying what's happening here, and then it's, you know
it makes sense. It makes sense. Two things I want to go into is one, how you got into being a board member of the Recording Academy, and two, I want to go back into the pricing of how much it costs to create a great record. And not even just, and creating it is just one aspect of it. From there, then it's pushing that record. So my question to you is like, you've worked with a lot of independent artists, right? It's tough to be an independent artist if you don't have like a huge label backing that's willing to put all that money behind you for, you know, the recording, the pushing it out, the marketing, the imagery, everything. How is an independent artist today supposed to like make it to that bar of one day receiving a Grammy?
Okay. So is that the first question?
That's the first question, yeah.
So there's a few ways to look at this, right? We talked about tech and the ability for us to do things on our own. So if let's say if I was a recording artist and I didn't have a big budget, I would record myself at home.
Okay.
I would take time to perfect the record. Now, depending on who the engineer producer is, I might want their input because they can help elevate the record. We got to remember that. You know, us being in the studio with each other, you know what that looks like. Everybody doesn't know what that looks like.
Right.
Sitting in the studio with a quiet engineer that doesn't give input.
Right.
So that's one factor. Have my friends around to help elevate, and then find an engineer that's reasonable. I have independent artist prices and I have corporate prices.
Okay.
So
I like that.
Yeah. So I've worked with Paramount and Viacom and VH1, all these networks, and you know, the budget will be between $8,000, $15,000, $20,000.
Yeah.
And they'll pay me that. You know, I'm not going to ask a independent artist to pay me that. It's just unreasonable. It's not rooted in who I am to do that to somebody. I will say though, when it comes to my original productions and my beats, I am very, very picky on who I sell them to. And usually people can only get like a license from me.
Okay.
And the reason why is because the value of music is so underrated and not common knowledge. But I want people to understand this is why the labels are so predatory on keeping our masters. Because there's songs that we're hearing on commercials right now that were made 60 years ago.
Yeah, still making money.
And they still getting checks.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Music is timeless. And, you know, we can create just like art. We can create an art piece. The original is the original. But then there's prints. Prints are licenses.
Okay.
So that's how I do, as I sell prints.
Okay. I like that. Because, all right, so selling prints, selling the licenses. So you're giving people the permission to use.
Yes, permission to use.
Permission to use versus selling all your rights.
Yeah, because what's the point? Like now, typically when you work with a label, they want to buy out the rights. But what I say to them is say, okay, you're going to pay me $20,000 for that? Okay. How about you pay me $15,000 and I still keep 5%? I want to go for the ride. Why are we doing this? Why are you just taking?
Why you want to cut me off so quick?
Take all of it. Like, you know I made it. Of course I'm going to get credit, and you also negotiate your points and your royalties and stuff like that. But they want to control the master. That's what it's called. It's called the masters. They want to control it, and when there's too many cooks in the kitchen, you already know what happens. Right? So it's a business.
So explain to the audience, if someone who has never heard what a master is, what exactly is a master?
A master recording is the original like when you go into the studio, when you record, those are technically all your masters.
Okay.
Everything that's on that computer is your masters. And then you have master copies of things. So you have like the master of the song, the master of the beat.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Usually the master is the song, like how it's all mixed and mastered and put
Yeah.
together. That wave file
Yeah.
is the master. So if you sample that master, that's when you have to pay.
Okay.
But if you like do it like in, I think it's called a tripulation or something like that. I forgot the term. But basically, if you like replay it,
Okay.
it's not as much.
Okay.
But you still got to pay the writers because they wrote it.
Yeah.
That's the composition, and you got the publishers.
Okay.
The publishers are usually people that hold the masters.
Yeah.
And then the composers are the people that were the writers, the lyrics, the composition.
Makes sense.
Yep.
So knowing all this, a person, again, for the independent artist out there, the person who's just coming up in the music business, who doesn't know all this, where do they go to learn this type of information?
Well, the beauty is now we have AI.
AI. Okay. Yeah.
So like I use technology, ask questions.
Yeah.
I also paid like my lawyer like $5,000 to spend like 2 weeks with him
Okay.
back when I first started.
Nice.
And he literally, not only did I learn from him all the things I didn't know, but he shook hands with people that I would have never met.
Yeah.
He think about a lawyer's relationships.
Yeah.
Big master key for anyone that's trying to get into the industry. Everything ain't about going to the front door.
Yeah.
Meet the lawyers, meet security, meet accountants, meet people, managers, meet the people that are behind the artists, the writers.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that are they're almost like the gatekeepers of the industry. Security, like I said, that's huge.
Yeah.
This person's protecting the artists.
Yeah.
They know all the artists.
And maybe people don't even think about that. That's like something like as simple as saying a security. People will just walk past, oh, it's just a security guard.
Yeah. Nah.
Has access to that artist 24/7.
You
If
piss
not,
the security guard off, you'll learn very quickly. They control the room. They
Yeah.
control what's happening and stuff. And I mean, at the end of the day, the essence of it is treat everybody good.
yeah,
Like, why? You try and get to that person over there, you treated this person like shit. Like, what does that even mean? Like, everybody deserves respect. Everybody deserves a shot for your kindness.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it don't go right,
Right.
you separate yourself. But yeah, every part of that process of that it makes this industry.
yeah,
And me learning all that has allowed me to excel because it's not, once again, it's not just music. We all are artists,
yeah, quote unquote.
right? We're all artists. We all create. We're all, we do it every day. But knowing the business and knowing your value and saying, I want to be responsible
Yeah,
for my, commerce.
Yeah.
That's the key to it.
yeah, that's taking yourself seriously so that others can take you seriously. And
Yes.
the great thing, one of the great things that you did was go ahead and get mentorship
Yes.
by a lawyer because
Yeah.
that's the law. You studied the law of the game. So now you know how to maneuver when you're in any room when it comes to the game.
Yeah, why go to school when you can just
Study with the masters.
Yeah, because I'm not going to school for
Yeah.
law. I'm not doing that. But it has helped me boost to levels like the academy. Like I'm a board governor for an organization called Musicopia. We teach orchestra to pre-K to high school. It's a Philadelphia-based organization. Shout out to Musicopia.
Shout out Musicopia.
Yeah, it's an amazing organization, and in essence, that's what it's about: giving back. Staying true to your deed and your craft, and having your faith rooted.
Yeah. I love that you are, grounded into like giving back as well because it all ties into, it's like a full circle moment for you. Like
Oh, yeah.
you are that person who you wish you had.
Yeah. That's actually part of my healing process. I'm happy you said that.
Yeah.
I've learned that if I want to continue to heal and be great, I have to go help others.
Yeah.
Because once again, when you didn't learn it the right way, my foundational root of understanding was incorrect.
Yeah.
So now when I go see people that are, have even drug addiction, people that suffer from drugs, because my mom, she suffered from drug addiction, kids in foster care, homelessness,
Yeah.
watching women go through like domestic violence. I'm very sensitive to all those areas. I make sure that I give back in all those areas because I watch and it reminds me. It's a very, very serious, humbling moment for me. And I just tap in. Like I try, you try not to look sad while you're helping people, but my soul feels it.
You feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it because you were there before. And, one of the main things we're here on this planet for is to pour into others. Like, we're here to serve others as much as we are here, we're doing our things. And so I think sometimes humans, we forget that, we're all having a human experience and everything that you do impacts the next human being, whether you think or believe it or not. It happens. If you're driving down the street and you have road rage and somebody's on their way to work and you cuss them out, you could have just created a trigger for that person to make them have a bad day. Now, when they go into work, they have an attitude with their coworkers, whatever. And then, you with your road rage, you pass that on to somebody. But if you are operating on a different vibration and you meet somebody who might be having a horrible day and you just say something nice and they'll remember that. They're like, they had a bad day, but your face was the one who made them smile.
That's right.
You said something to bring their spirits up. So we always have a choice of what vibration we're on every single moment.
I love it. Yeah, it's like it's like the domino effect, or like if you throw a rock into the ocean, the vibration, you never know where it's going to go, who it's going to disturb, what it's going to create. And it creates a sense of accountability and responsibility to know, like, I'm upset, but I got to take it out on everybody.
Right, man. Why you gotta make everybody else take it?
Yeah, it's like the bad vibe at the party. Yeah, everybody's chilling, having a good time, and this person over here.
You gotta be the one.
It's like,
you gotta be the
it's almost like, get out. Like nobody wants
bad
you here.
energy, stay far.
Yeah, and that's like that's basics. Like we all know that. And it's funny because kids, I have 2 little girls. Yeah. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And animals are so in tune. They're so intelligent.
Yeah.
They remind you, stay tapped into the moment.
Stay tapped in.
Like the moment right now, I know you just planned for the next week. Yeah. I know you're going on vacation next month.
Now it's all that matters.
You got to tap into now.
Yes. Yeah. Janae Aiko has a saying, one of the songs "Moments," I think it's called "Moments" on her Trip album.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes, man.
I like that album.
So I want to go into you becoming a board member of the Recording Academy, because that's a great accomplishment, Geronimo.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like, you're from the surrounding East Coast area, the Delaware area, but you also tapped into the Philly, young people with giving back. You coming from the humble beginnings that you grew up in, and now you're, what was it, a couple of weeks ago? On your IG, you're at the Grammys, you're a voting member of the Academy. You're one of the people who vote for who's going to get a Grammy. That's a big deal.
Yes.
How did you get there?
Oh, man. It's interesting because the Academy is an incredible organization that actually stands for everything that I've already been doing. They're community-oriented. They're based in the craft, and they give back immensely. So basically, in order to get into the Academy, I'll give you the basics. You have to you have to get recommended from people that are already in the industry. Okay. It looks better when it's someone that's already a part of the Academy.
Makes sense.
So you have to have 2 recommendations, and you have to have the credentials. Okay. So you have to have like over 12 credits in the field that you want to get into. So if you're a composer, producer, engineer. To put it in perspective, I have over 1,000 credits.
Hey, big G, not the little G.
Yes. Yeah, I have over 360 something songs that I've done, and there's probably more that I haven't even credited yet. But on those songs, I have like 3-4 credits each. Okay. I might have vocal produce. You know how it is. I'll record it. I'll mix it. I'll master it. That's 4 credits right there. Yeah. So, doing that, and then I used to have programs. I used to work with the PAL. I helped write a $2.5 million grant.
I used to go to PL New York.
We all. You see what I'm saying? It's a part of all of us. I had a program I wrote back in 2013 with some other grant writers, and it basically we gave back to the community by doing music production, videography, and photography. So we had 4 locations.
Okay.
All these things are a part of my resume.
Yeah.
So in doing that, the Academy looks very favorably upon people who are really, truly doing the work.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to be a part, right?
Everybody wants to be a part.
I could say, hey, you want to be a part? Yeah, sure, no, not. Do you qualify?
Right.
Are you doing the work? Because it's not like I ain't gonna lie, I never even dreamed about being a part of the Academy before. Once again, never dreamed, didn't know it was possible.
Yeah.
But once I had a few of my mentors, they were like, yo, you should try to be a part of the Academy. And then the empowerment of being a part of it, one of my colleagues, Kaisha Blackstone, who's an incredible person in the industry. Her husband is Adam Blackstone. We were advocating with Lisa Rochester because that's what we do. We do advocacy work for the music and the arts. We go to legislation and say, hey, pass the laws. You know, we deserve to have these as just basic rights.
Yeah.
And we were sitting at the table one day. She was like, you should try to become a board member. And when she said that, it put the battery in my back.
Dum, dum, dum.
Like, what is that? Right? And once again, it's just me doing the same stuff that I've been doing. It's like, it's the front runners.
Yeah.
So when you become a board governor, you're voted in by your by the other members.
Okay.
So there's like 16,000 members in the country.
Okay.
I'm a part of the Philly chapter.
Okay.
So I'm a board governor for the Philly chapter, and they basically, you go through a voting process and you're voted in by your colleagues and stuff. So yeah, like just literally doing the work. Like I said, I have literally over 1,000 credits under my name.
Yeah.
And it's multi-genre. So like when you step into the arena of, can you do music? Yes, I can.
Now we're talking.
Yes, I can do it. I can do it at a high level. And then my heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for like the fame. You already know. I barely do interviews.
Yeah, you're so down to earth, so chill.
This might be one of the few ones you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like that. But you're a beautiful spirit. You know, you've always been a great energy around me, and I feel like that I want to share my story with a lineage that I think is going to go in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because everything ain't sweet. Everything ain't nice. I've been through adversities in my life. You know, I've been through things that just aren't beautiful. But I think who you become, the phoenix rising,
tells the story.
Yeah, it's different. Like it's very special to go through adversity and come out of it. So yeah, shout out to the Recording Academy, man. It's changed my life. It's transformed my perception of the industry as well, because there's people out here fighting, man. Like the industry is very, how can I put it? It's very smoky mirrors.
Smokes and mirrors.
Yeah, people don't know what to expect, what it is. You hear so many terms and things like, oh, it's corrupt, it's the worst. Bro, go be a banker.
Yeah.
Right? Go be a lawyer. Like, there's every area. That lawyer just got that man off, and he just did this.
And he knew.
And he knew. So it's like, you can't, don't make everything.
Everything has its vice.
Everything has it. And it's like, if you're not putting the work in to improve it, why criticize it? So that's why I love the Academy, is that we're trying. We're fighting the beast, the corporations that are, preying upon our art.
Yeah.
Like that's why I took it upon myself to say, I'm gonna become a part of this organization and be a leader in it.
I love that. To see someone who is like from the area that we have access to over here, and you're in there and you're advocating, because that's what you're doing. You're advocating and you're making a change. Not a lot of people can say that. And again, you're very humble. Like,
Thank you.
I tend to see that a lot of geniuses are like really just chill, humble people. But when it comes to the art, don't play with it.
Yeah.
Don't play with it.
I go in on my art. It's funny though, because I don't even like sharing my music like that. People like, show me some beats. I'd be like, nah.
chill.
But as I get older,
Yeah.
and like I have like a whole meditation album I haven't dropped.
Oh my! Stop playing, G.
It's been like 5 years.
G, I'm gonna need to listen to that. Stop playing.
One of my homegirls, she's in the industry. She's part of the Philly chapter. We're working on her project and we're doing stuff. And she came to the studio the other night, and I put the meditation piece on. She was like, "I can listen to this every day." And I'm like, "I've had this for like 5 years."
Stop it.
It's like an hour-long piece that I made.
Oh my God.
And it's special. I actually want to mention it. It's actually called Equator.
Equator.
And it's special because it's an hour long, and it's like this beautiful loop that hits all your chakras. But then it goes through a frequency sweep.
Okay.
And it goes from all the way up to your crown, all the way to your root. And it goes through a moment where it sounds like you're in the womb.
Oh my God, stop it.
And that's why it was so special to me. I was like, this should be called Equator. Because when you hear it, like our first time we ever heard sound, we were in
the
womb.
womb, yeah.
And that sounds like underwater.
Yeah.
So that's, and I'll drop it.
Oh my God, you have to. Now that you've talked about it, you said you gotta put it into the world.
For sure. I'm big on not saying all my plans and stuff like that, but that's already done.
Yeah.
Like that chapter has been written, and I got some new stuff coming up, and I think that if people that are watching, if you pay attention, you'll see like I'll drop hints and stuff like that. But I'm very big on moving in silence. People don't always have the best intentions for you, and I'm a warrior for my craft and God always. So I'm going to make sure that I move forward militantly.
You
know what I mean?
I think that's a major gem you just dropped. Not even think it is a major gem that you just dropped, because so many times people get eager they're doing stuff and they want to show everybody what they're doing or they want to put it out there, but it's just like, let it fully develop, right? And protect that process
100%.
of it fully being developed. Even this interview that we're having now, right? I've been interviewing people, but I haven't put it out or promoted, right? Because I want this to be completed before putting it out into the world, because I'm like, when y'all see it, y'all will see it. And it might not look like I'm doing anything right now, but when you see it, you'll see what I've been doing,
Yes.
So I like that, because again, it's protecting your energy, protecting the creative process, protecting your peace, because the evil eye is real.
That's real.
And people will project on you if they see you doing something that's great. And it either does two things. It either inspires or it creates resentment. And the resentment that they get, it's not even like a resentment that they really have towards you. It's a resentment that they have towards themselves for not actualizing what they could be actualizing.
There it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned that, once again, like the core foundations of your life when you're younger, when you're in survival mode, it was psychology for me, like learning people's behaviors more so than enjoying life.
Yeah.
I think that's what helped me navigate later on, like my later years, is that I went through the muck when I was young. And when you go through it, your discernment, your vision changes. Like you start seeing stuff and be like, I remember I was talking to this one person, and I was like, I've seen you before. And it was like, we've met. I was like, no. But I've seen you before. And it's and it's spiritual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can just see. And, you have to move accordingly.
Have to move accordingly. Being tapped in, like you said, what is it? It's not called the sensitive soul. Empath. An empath. Usually empaths go through a lot of things.
Yeah.
And empaths are like, you feel the energy in the room.
Yes.
But you also can see through people.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah.
People don't like being if you can see through a person, and if they have ill intentions, it's very uncomfortable. They can't stay around for long.
Oh, yeah.
They can pretend to other people, but they cannot stay around your energy for long.
It's the light.
It has to come, their ill intention always comes out.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, if you're in the dark and the light is shed on you, it's like, you don't want it.
You don't want it at all.
Yeah.
So, Geronimo, you have two beautiful girls.
Oh, my God.
One who just had a birthday.
Yes.
2 and 4, right? How has fatherhood been for you?
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, They're just my babies, man. Yeah, we spent time yesterday. We went to an event up in Philly. It was a recording academy, cultural arts event.
Okay.
Just the community trying to tap in with the people and the artists to do great things. And they, gave me a run for my money. But I mean, my father passed away when I was in the 3rd grade. He was actually a drummer.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I think I have some of his gifts.
And genetics, yeah.
Yeah. Incredible man from what I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was actually like in his 60s when he had us.
Oh,
so he wasn't playing around.
Okay, Papa was a rolling.
No, facts, he was. And we were like his second. I think we were like his second family. Like his first wife passed away and everything. And like my girls, man, like I try my very, very, very best. I pray to God to say protect them, give me the right thoughts and methods to take care of them, and they're well taken care of. You know what I mean? They're good. Like I'm looking at them and I'm like, wow, they're living a better life than I.
That's what it's about, though.
Yeah, I was like, when I see them, I get emotional because I love them so much and I want the best for them. And honestly, when I first became a father, I was scared. I didn't know what to feel. I'm like, am I capable? Yeah. Am I worthy? To even have these beautiful blessings, and they've just transformed me even more as a person. And I tap more into just trying to be great because of them. Yeah.
So what would you say they have taught you? Because children come here to teach us things.
Yeah, they do.
What have they taught you so far?
More patience. Because I've always been like a patient person, but in a way of like outcome patience, not like I'm dealing with this right now patience.
Yeah. Okay.
Chill out. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like when you're 2, like what is happening? You don't even know.
Yeah.
You're just they're having a great time. They enjoy life. You can kill their vibe by just yelling at them. I don't even yell at them. I just the most I'll discipline, I'll tell them to sit down, chill out. Yeah. You know what I mean? But other than that, I mean, they're girls too.
Yeah, you're a girl dad.
Yeah, so they're like, I'm already hypersensitive about that and stuff. And I definitely want more kids. I want a boy. Okay. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm like old young. Okay. Because I'm already hyperactive. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm 39 now, but like I started late. So I would say just patience and unconditional love. Because that's not something what I was taught. Yeah. So just seeing them and just being thankful and grateful they're in my life and just being completely selfish, like be like, okay, this is your time and moment. Nothing else matters. Right. We have Daddy-Daughter Day at least once a week.
I love that. I really, really love that.
Yeah, and she says it too. This is today Daddy-Daughter Day. Aww. Like, yes, boopy.
Okay. So as far as you balancing between being a father and a career man, you're an entrepreneur, how do you balance the two? Because there's times when you'll be working. Yeah. And I've seen, your daughter will call and you have to tend to her. So like how do you balance the two?
Just a great partnership with my lady. We we do a great balance. She knows that I'm dedicated to my craft and my career is on a trajectory right now. So she does a great job with just, taking care of the kids, taking care of home. I'm the breadwinner, so I take care of the, everything. And, she makes sure that she keeps the kids on point. And like today, I got 10 hours of recording. Yeah. But I make sure I call or I stop by the house. We'll have dinner for an hour or two. I gap out my schedule. Okay. I got this, then I got a 1 to 6, then I got an 8 to 1. Yeah. Yeah. Right? So while they sleeping, I'm cooking.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you have a partnership that has understanding. Yes. You know what, I won't say what the roles are, but it's like you have a system in play and it's working. Yeah. Oh
yeah, I don't believe in always gender roles. Yeah. Like I love to cook. I'm the cook in the house. Everything's given. It's a 6-course meal. Down. Well, it's part of the arts. And,
it is.
So it's my form of expression, and I mean, you can eat the best when you cook.
Yeah. I'm saying you picking here.
Exactly. I'm full before we get to the table.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So, G, you also are doing things within the Grammy U, which is like a program where they're giving back to artists. Can you speak a little bit on that?
Yeah, Grammy U is a part of the Recording Academy.
Yeah.
We basically work with college students, and we help educate them, help integrate them into the industry by giving them mentorship.
Okay.
So I've had over probably 20,000 credit hours come through my studio.
Nice.
Through like Delaware State University and other colleges, Drexel, UD, and the students. And this is before I got into the academy. So once again, Grammy U was just a natural, just once again, giving back, mentoring. And I have a lot of mentees out there that I've worked with.
Okay.
Like I have a girl right now. She was like 15 when she started working with me. She's 22 now, going for her master's. So I have her writing songs with me now, making beats to shop out to the industry.
Okay.
Because my career has evolved, and people that have stayed true and loyal to me, I always take them along for the ride. So even the college students, like I want to be able to create opportunities and get them paid while they're in school. It's just kind of like, slowly but surely just help the people that I know that are in need, but that are actually open to it.
Yeah.
So,
it makes sense. So now, like, you listening to records 24/7 a lot. When do you know there's a hit record?
A few things. One, foundational. It gives me the chills.
Okay.
That's how I know I'm like, ooh, this is good. And also, like, it transcends time.
Okay. Transcends time.
Yeah, when it transcends time, and I'm like, yo, I can listen to this 20 years from now.
Yeah.
I could listen to this 20 years ago. That's how you know it's a hit record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That transcends times makes sense because everything that's a hit continues generation after generation. We're still listening to Michael Jackson. The children that come will still be listening to Michael Jackson forever and ever and ever.
Time is so relative.
Yeah.
But vibes, energy is forever.
Energy is forever. All right, so we talked about, how there's oftentimes the corporation preys on the artist. Do you see a point in time with the music industry where there's going to be a shift? I kind of feel like that may be happening. You're into like cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. So on that aspect, that's where I see something taking a shift where the creators are now having the power and there isn't really a middleman.
Yeah.
Give me some quick thoughts on that.
Well, I said a little bit about it earlier, is that artists, to all the artists out there, the great ones, the ones that are just starting out, we got to start taking accountability for our business.
Yeah.
Our like, you wouldn't just go drop off like your TV to someone's spot and just say you can use it for however long you want. No, you're gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna let you borrow this.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna need it back
in
like 2 weeks because it's valuable to you. Same thing with your art. Like, be accountable for it. Take care of it. Own it. Give it infrastructure, right? Get an LLC. Get a publishing company, right? House your stuff in a place where it can be safe.
Yeah.
Copyright all your music. Do your sound exchange, right? All these things are the things you have to do in order for your music to live.
Foundation.
Right? Foundation, infrastructure. Artists have to take care of their business. Because if not, if they refuse to, and a lot of artists don't want to do it, you leave it subjected to giving it to someone that won't take care of it as much as you will. Blockchain is cool. I love it. I think we have a ways to go. Just because what's happening with Spotify right now, like this guy's the richest. He's worth $6 billion. He's worth more than any artist combined that have ever existed. Think about that.
Yeah. Ha! Monetization.
How is this possible?
Yeah.
It's because the label sold us out.
Yeah.
And they gave the ability for Spotify to have these licenses and stuff like that, and then pay the artist 0.00003 cents.
Yeah. I saw a post, I believe it was yesterday. Snoop just dropped Spotify and he picked up this blockchain FM because he had 1 billion streams, and out of that 1 billion he got 45,000. And he's
That's
like,
crazy.
nah, I'm good.
It's just disrespectful.
It's disrespect.
So that's why for me, I'm actually probably going to drop the meditation project on like a Patreon.
Yeah,
or
it
like,
makes sense.
The hardest thing about it is that the system is all in. It's all in collusion.
Yeah.
Like it's all together. So like as an artist, if you don't have a Spotify monthly listeners,
how are you going to be heard?
How are you going to be heard, and how are you going to leverage your audience, your fame, and stuff like that? I will say, branding is probably one of the biggest things that you could do.
Yeah,
is having that show like, yo, I'm valuable.
Like Russ.
Yeah, I'm valuable. I can start making cupcakes tomorrow.
Right.
And you already know from my quality, I'm gonna make some bomb cupcakes.
Quality.
You know what I mean? Like that's what it has to be like. Because once you put the value in the hands of them and you're giving them your art, they're gonna do whatever they want with it.
They want.
They're gonna pay you whatever they feel. But if you're a brand and people are coming to you directly paying you, you can tell them your price.
Yeah.
Right? So I think direct to consumer is huge nowadays. Just have a great platform to help make that happen. People can download and donate as much as they want and bundle it together. Once again, service. If you got a project, say, hey, 50% off on my next concert. You can come out. Here's some gear, some T-shirts. Like, hook people up. You know what I mean? I always tell people, try to offer before asking.
Yeah. Offer value before extracting monetization.
Yeah, anything really, because it's like if I ask for your time, I'm going to contribute to you. And I think if people take that model, just being a good human, is just to offer before asking.
Absolutely.
The love will be there.
Yeah. Geronimo, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Oh my God. I really thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today.
This was awesome.
You have so much insight, so much light, so much gems and knowledge that you just have to share with the world, and so much talent.
Thank you.
So I want you to just tell the audience where they can find you.
Yeah, so my Instagram is my name, Geronimo Vannicola. You can look me up there. My website is transitioning now because I'm in the process of purchasing a new space.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be something very, very special.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just go to my Instagram and just hang out there and just see the journey. I think I try to post a little bit more now that I'm in position and stuff, but once again, it's kind of hard when you don't want to share everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm very down there. If people can just hit me up anytime, I'll chat with them.
All right. Thank you so much again for coming today. If you guys are watching and you tuned in and tapped into today's episode, there were so many gems shared. Geronimo came and I hope that you just were writing down or taking what you needed to take from this, because as he said, it's so important as an artist if you're a music artist in the industry, any industry that you're in, take the time to do the research of the industry that you're in. Don't just want to get into something because you want to get into it. Yes, we're all artists. Yes, we're all creators in our different respect, but there is a foundation and there is an infrastructure that is taking place within any industry that you are in. And if you take the time, knowledge is free. The internet is a vast ocean of knowledge. And also tap into those who can mentor you, or people who who are in spaces that you want to be in, and ask questions and never stop learning. Today was a beautiful sound frequency conversation. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, peace, love, and light.
Guide me on the road until I can reach where they go. I'm almost there. Something keep telling me, say the money will follow the turn.